There it goes.
It was her
Now,
75th birthday, I think, Dolly.
yes, Dolly's 75th birthday. That's right.
That's incredible.
That is absolutely incredible. And what else is incredible? This slate of games. Am I right, everybody? Mm-hmm.
Every
That's
time
right.
go ahead.
Go. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say every time I see Kenny Rogers, I just think that for the last 20 years of his life, Kenny Rogers could not win a Kenny Rogers lookalike contest.
It's true, man.
Save it.
It's true. Save it for the show. What are you drinking on?
Just some coffee, just some cold coffee.
Cold coffee.
Pour over.
You pour over the stuff, right?
Yeah, Kate taught me how to make a proper cup of coffee, but then I can't drink regular coffee now. If I drink regular coffee, I'm like, what is this? You can actually taste it. Like if you do it right, if it says this tastes like dried fruit and chocolate and honey, it actually does.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll swing by New Orleans and get a cup of coffee from you then.
Yeah, please. I'd love that. Anybody, if you offer to anybody who can hear my voice right now, when you come to New Orleans, and soon people will be coming back to New Orleans. Can't wait. I'll make you a cup of coffee.
Sounds good to me. No coffee needed when talking about the AFC and NFC championship games here on the Audible. Cecil, Lammey, and Sigmund Bloom. And this is it, man. This is all of it. This is what it's been building towards, Bloom, and it's glorious.
Oh, it is. And I think that we have stories upon stories upon stories upon stories. However, it really comes down to Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. And then is there a story that can supersede that story? Josh Allen, Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. And what we see on Conference Championship Weekend, what we see on Super Bowl Sunday, sometimes we see in divisional round, but we didn't see it as much last week, is are you going to turn this game into a story about you and your team and turn the other team into the supporting cast? Or are you going to be the supporting cast in their story? And it's always incredible.
Always a choice, right?
Yeah.
Always a choice. It is the playoffs, and to celebrate, all new players can play for free in the $1 million top prize with your first deposit, thanks to our partnership with DraftKings. Create your DraftKings DFS account, make a deposit. DraftKings will credit your account with a free contest entry. Draft your lineup and compete for millions in prizes. Just go to dkng.co/FBG to play. That's dkng.co/FBGMILLY. Act quickly. This offer ends after the playoffs. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Pack at home against the Buccaneers. And all right, Tommy, can you get this one done? Antonio Brown's a game time decision. Whatever. It's not like he was doing much anyway. Mike Evans will have much better coverage this week in terms of for him and being able to get open and all those sorts of things with Chris Godwin. We're watching Ronald Jones, who will play again, but will he start, Bloom? I don't think that's been announced. If it has, let me know. Or will it be Leonard Fournette to start and then split the backfield touches with Rojo? And then Brady. In a shining moment. I don't have NFLweather.com pulled up, Bloom, but I'm sure it's cold in Green Bay. And then the Green Bay side of things, how much Devontae Adams can you handle? And that young secondary. And that front seven, making things complicated for Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon should play. Jamal Williams should play. Both power options behind Jones. There's Rodgers, Thielen, Allen Lazard a little bit banged up, but he'll be out there as well. The big play opportunity. Him and Robert Tonyan. Oh my goodness, the numbers coming out about Tonyan, just all the stories, all the information. Like, it's so much fun to read about this connection with Robert Tonyan and his quarterback. Well, this one will be one for the ages because it's the old guard, and then in the Super Bowl it'll be old guard versus new guard, no matter who wins and what combination we get. But Bucks and Pack, let's talk about this one, dude.
Yeah. Think of Chris Berman, the Bay of Pigs. It shows you how far these franchises have come since the 80s. Wow. First of all, both of these matchups have already happened this year. In the same week, actually. Week 6. And they're both games that just didn't feel like how you expected the game to go in either case. Green Bay, and you mentioned Robert Tonyan, by the way. Tunyon rhymes with Bunyan. See, someone I don't want to embarrass you. If I say Indiana State as a sports university, who's the guy? Not football.
Oh, not football.
Yeah.
It's Larry Bird, isn't
Larry
it?
Bird, right? So that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I really know Indiana State. 2 Indiana State tight ends.
I know basketball, Bloom. Don't hit me with baseball or hockey trivia.
I know. Well, rest in peace, Hank Aaron, by the way. Hammer and Hank did so much for the game. So you got Tunyon and Dominique Daphne. All right. Let's talk about this game. Let's talk about the first game first. The final score of that game was 38-10. Would you believe Green Bay was up 10-0 in that game? The 10 came before Tampa even got a point. What happened? First, Jamel Dean jumped a route to Devontae Adams and took it to the house. Then on the very next drive, so, Tampa doesn't get the ball back. Green Bay just comes right back on the field. Rodgers tries to go again to Adams in the middle of the field. The ball gets deflected, and there's Mike Edwards, who just replaced Antoine Winfield. He's been playing tremendous football as a rookie. He took it down to like the 2, and they scored again. And it was 14-10, but everything came unraveled at that point. Packers had put together 2 good drives, 10 points against the Bucs, and then everything came unraveled. And what did we see in that game? Ronald Jones had a tremendous game. Again, Green Bay run defense, potentially an Achilles heel. Rob Gronkowski had a good game. There was no run game for the Packers, as you would expect, right? Evans didn't do much in that game. Antonio Brown didn't play in that game. Chris Godwin had a few plays. He had just come back from a hamstring injury. So when we look at the Tampa side, there's going to be balance again, as there should be. Jones and Fournette. And they're both playing well, and they both provide a little different look to the defense. Jones has some speed. Fournette maybe a little more rugged, although Jones has come a long way. And I think you're going to see that attempt for balance. However, you are going to see some shots downfield. You have to see some shots downfield because, look, last week, 2 of those 3 turnovers that they got from the Saints that were the difference in the game were unforced errors by the Saints offense. You can't expect that from Rodgers. You're not going to get any gifts in this one. So they're going to have to take some shots. They have to finish their drives. It's okay that they're going to go balanced. It's okay that they're going to try to pick on the Green Bay run defense, but they have to finish their drives with touchdowns. What I would like to see, Cecil, especially after we saw this with Jared Goff, I brought this up in the recap of the divisional round. Spread the field. Get Tyler Johnson out there. Get Scott Miller out there. Move Chris Godwin inside to the slot. Get Gronk running up the seam. Take advantage of these stiff linebackers. If Jair Alexander cancels out Mike Evans, who cares? Who cares? This is an unbelievably deep. Even guys like Cameron Brate can do some damage. This is a deep group of pass catchers, but Brady has to be precise. We've watched Drew Brees and Ben Roethlisberger age before our eyes. Injuries not helping. That hasn't been the problem with Brady. Brady still has all of his arm strength. Brady still looks like Brady in terms of his ability to push the ball down the field, but he's erratic. He's more erratic than he was, say, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. He has to. There's throws that he's going to have to make. He's not going, and especially he can't make mistakes that result in turnovers. So I hope that Arians opens up the field a little bit with all these weapons. Remember that Tampa Bay's offensive line did very well against Washington and New Orleans. Can you even picture in your mind once, Cease, Chase Young or Cameron Jordan bearing down on Tom Brady in those games? They were a wall around him.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to need that against Zadarius Smith and Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith and all of these tremendous pass rushers that they have there. On the Green Bay side, like Aaron Rodgers just needs to keep playing like Aaron Rodgers has been, basically. And you wonder, Cease, like, if Tampa Bay and Green Bay had not played that 38-10 curb stomping, would Green Bay have become the team they are right now?
No.
Right?
You can thank Tampa Bay for creating this Green Bay revenge tour. Like, oh, what do we have to be? We have to be physical. We have to be tough.
Yeah.
We have to actually run the ball at times. Like, yeah, that started. Green Bay was a different story before that.
Yeah. So interestingly, we'll see. They're going to try to establish Aaron Jones, but again, this is that Tampa Bay run defense. This offense has worked, again, as I pointed out in the recap, because Aaron Rodgers has bought into the balance. He's bought into the quick passing. I think hopefully that balance for, when Hackett is drawing up the game plan with LaFleur is a little less of the running, a little more of the quick passing, but still those shots downfield. Remember that Alan Lazard did not play in this first game. Again, Devontae Adams didn't really make an impact. Robert Tonyan didn't make an impact. He was coming off, and Adams was coming back from an injury too. So really what it's going to come down to, I think, when Green Bay has the ball is the good news for Tampa is they are a gambling defense. Like, what's the one thing you don't want to do against Aaron Rodgers? Just sit back, keep the action in front of you. Right. That's not going to work. Come on. You have to force the issue, and it's going to go badly sometimes. But they will gamble. They will blitz. They will force him out of his process. They will force him to improvise. And sometimes that's some of the most magical moments that Rodgers has created in his career. But as we saw earlier this year, Rodgers looked terrible. Rodgers looked unable to move the offense, and we saw Green Bay just give up. So Tampa needs to get a few hits on him. Tampa needs to get a few plays that really rattle him early in this game, and Todd Bowles is willing to do that. So, I think this is a great matchup. I think Tom Brady has to play the best game he's played maybe all year. And he's done that in the playoffs. That's why you go get Tom Brady, right?
Right.
And for Aaron Rodgers, I still think if Aaron Rodgers plays the way he's played the last half of the season, it's going to be really hard to overcome that. But Tom Brady knows a thing or two about overcoming impossible odds in the playoffs.
If you were to tell me just one result, give me the box score of one player, and I can tell you who won. It's Robert Tonyan.
Yeah,
it's what you bring up about you're going to have to get after Rodgers, and who is the difference maker? Because we've seen Rodgers without a tight end, and okay, where's that security blanket? Tonyan is that guy. So if you tell me the box score of Tonyan, I can tell you if the Packers win or not. I'm picking the Packers, Bloom. And, we got to put a score on this. What's that over under, right?
Yeah.
And it's just look at Vegas.
It's only 3.5.
Okay. 51.5.
Yeah.
Is the over under. Oof. Are you going to go over? You're going to go under.
I'm going to go over.
Yeah. All right. Looks like 27, mostly cloudy. That's NFLweather.com. So I'm going to go Packers, and let's say 30-28.
A close one.
Yeah. Let's take a close one there.
I just can't. I didn't see a Tampa Bay team that could hang with Green Bay in this game last week against New Orleans, and I cannot anticipate or project a trend to reverse. And that trend in this case is Aaron Rodgers just being dialed in, totally dialed in. I'll be interested. Cecil, if you ask me about a stat that would unlock the game, I would just say the number of sacks that Tampa Bay gets. Devin White, there's no faster linebacker on a blitz right now than Devin White. They still got Jason Pierre-Paul. Shaq Barrett. I mean, they have the guys. They have the guys to get key stops here, but I still think they're going to have to put up at least 28 or 31 points to win, even if they get some stops, even if they get the Green Bay offense off the field with some punts and some field goals. But I can't say that Aaron Rodgers is, he's just, all of his career it has been watching him and saying, how did he do that? That's just unfair. So I can't say that's not going to happen in this one. I will say 38-30, high scoring game, shootout here. Green Bay goes on to the Super Bowl.
Okay. Green Bay in the Super Bowl. Now, who are they going to play? And Bloom, part of my decision-making process for the weekend is, where do I want to watch this game? Do I want to go all the way to Mobile to watch it, or do I want to watch it in Pensacola? I think I might make it to Mobile just because, oh my God, I don't want to miss a second, right? Cue the Steven Tyler, don't want to close my eyes, don't want to fall asleep because I'd miss you, babe. And by babe, I mean Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Full disclosure, I'm going to pick the Bills against the Chiefs. Now, Pat Mahomes going to pass concussion protocol probably today is when they'll make that official. The hell, they might have already made it official because he was still in the concussion protocol as of yesterday's writings. So we'll see today. The concussion isn't the concern for me. It is a concern, but the toe.
Yeah.
The toe's much more of a concern. in my opinion, because everything as a passer starts with your feet. Plus, Mahomes can get around and scoot. How many times is, hey, it's great coverage for once, and Mahomes just runs for 16 yards?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he can't do that this time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we'll see. His participation, we're kind of always waiting on that. It's not like Darrell Williams can't be that banger anyway. And do either of these teams really even want to run the ball? And is that the changeup? Honestly,
Yeah.
I was surprised / disgusted with Buffalo last week for not running Devin Singletary at all. One carry in the first half, whatever it was. There was 2 runs in the first half by Buffalo. One was a carry and one was a scramble. Okay, do they switch that up this time? Do either one of these teams go in and think like, okay, you guys want to pass all day? Well, here we're going to punch you in the mouth. We're going to wear you down. We're going to grind you down, and you're going to be tired, and then we're going to pass all over you. That'd work for both of these sides if they wanted to do that. Well, what do they want to do, Bloom? Stephon Diggs, he'll be out there starring. Gabriel Davis is banged up. If I talk about things that concern me for Buffalo, 1, their commitment to actually running. 2 is Gabriel Davis will come through and go back to the wild card round, and the dude was making these amazing sideline grabs. So he'll get 2-3 targets, Bloom.
Mm-hmm.
But those are really high value plays that he can come through and make in key situations to move the chains. And it looks like Gabriel Davis is not going to be out there. If I were to guess right now, again, his practice status on Friday will have yet to be determined. We're recording this Friday morning if you're listening. So I'm like, okay, that's a concern for me. Can Smokey John Brown do a little bit more? Sure. Because Diggs and Beasley out there trying, man. He's trying. They're actually going to use Dawson Knox. So this one's fascinating on many, many levels. I don't care if Sammy Watkins plays, whatever. Because we already know all the Chiefs' weapons. We know how they'll be set up. And the thing that I told Biggie, my best friend, Biggie, who's a big Bills fan, has been his whole life, poor guy. And I said, dude, Josh Allen won't back down because Football 101 says, play the defense and run the ball and keep Mahomes cold on the sidelines. They're not going to do that. They're going to go out there and whip it around. They're going to go out there and sling it. The Bills think they can go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. I like that thought, Bloom, even though that thought makes me a little bit nervous as someone who's picking the Bills.
Yeah, I want to pick the Bills, and I want to tell a story of how the Bills can win. Again, these two teams played in Week 6. It was a Monday afternoon game because Buffalo played Tennessee, I think, the Tuesday before. Remember all that?
Yeah, Tennessee and Baltimore screwing things up.
Yeah. By the way, just as an aside on those weird games, I do think we learned this year that there is a rhythm to how teams prepare for a game, whether it's a Thursday night game. We thought Thursday night football was bad. How about Tuesday afternoon football? Right. And you could really see that outside of a routine to prepare for a game, even if it's a Monday night game or a Thursday night game or a Sunday night game, these teams really were off. So it's kind of hard to get a good takeaway from this first matchup. But if we revisit the first matchup, it was a miserable game. The weather was miserable. I think it was in a driving rain. Neither team was able to pass successfully. And it was a game where it was a point in the season where teams were actually light boxing the... When I say light boxing, what I mean is using light boxes against Kansas City to induce them into running. It's kind of a Belichickian strategy, right? If I know that when you see 6 in the box, you'll run, and your quarterback's Patrick Mahomes, any play where Mahomes isn't throwing is a victory, right? Or at least the chances of something bad happening for the defense go way down if Mahomes doesn't throw the ball. Mahomes, highly efficient, not really lighting it up. It was a close game the whole time because they were content to just hand off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Mahomes did move the ball sometimes as a runner in that game. He had 10 for 38. So that's going to be off the table.
Message. All right.
Yeah, that's off the table because of the toe. So, and Josh Allen just wasn't getting it done. This was during Josh Allen's slump. He was not good against Tennessee the week before. He was not good in this game. There was no downfield passing in this game for him that was really successful. But he's going to have to be successful passing the ball downfield in this one. Weather should be better. The wind shouldn't be as much of a factor as it was last week against Baltimore. The good news is you've got Stephon Diggs. And I suppose if we want to cast this game as Josh Allen against Chiefs, it's really Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs because they move him around. They do a lot of things to get him open. There's a lot of teams that should look at how Stephon Diggs is used by Brian Dable and say, that's what we need to do with our number one receiver. We don't have to be just like DeAndre Hopkins, right? Like we don't have to be static and predictable. And Stephon Diggs can make these plays that are like the Aaron Rodgers kind of plays on the other game. Like just the difference in the game. When you look back and you're like, well, Stephon Diggs made these plays, and Josh Allen, because of his penchant for low percentage throws, gave him the chance to make those plays. That's why I wore it, Zach. I wore it for you, buddy. So, I don't think that Kansas City's defense is going to get tested against the run. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Devin Singletary or TJ Yeldon or whoever. I think you're going to see the Josh Allen offense as it should be. Hopefully Cole Beasley's feeling better. If you were disappointed by him at DFS last week, it was Marlon Humphrey. I mean, Marlon Humphrey against whoever is going to be disappointing for DFS most weeks. Remember, Fuller's not there anymore. He's back in Washington. You do have John Brown. See, I know that we're going to think if Buffalo could somehow win a Super Bowl, oh, God, the fans, the city, and everything like that, a little part of me will think about Smokey. A little part. I'm getting way ahead of myself here. But he's back.
Dude, I may go to the backyard and break a table. Like,
did you see the baby? They threw the baby on the table for the birth. Oh man, Buffalo, we love you. Yeah. We love you. I wonder if this game may come down to Dawson Knox. If there are some moments where Dawson Knox is the one guy that Kansas City can't really account for whenever they're trying to cover all of these weapons.
Like it would have been Gabriel Davis if he was available.
Dawson Knox, and that's kind of, if the game comes down to Dawson Knox, it could be fantastic. It could also be disappointing.
But isn't that what these games are about?
Yes, that when you're still alive this deep into the season, players have to play above their head. And there's some players that we almost expect but occasionally there's a few that we don't. Speaking of that, Dirty Dan Sorensen, who everybody knows his name now after last week, he made a terrific one-handed interception in this game. It was like a minute 20 left, and Kansas City was up by 9. It wasn't like a crucial play, but it was a beautiful play. And that's the thing. Buffalo wasn't able to do much against Kansas City in the first game, even though Josh Allen wasn't sacked. He only threw that one interception in the game late, and there were no fumbles. They just weren't able to move the ball. So that is Brian Dable's challenge. And then, of course, Honey Badger is going to be roaming.
There's your X factor.
There's your X factor, right? And you got to avoid him. He's like the what was it on Pressure Luck? I can't even remember.
The whammy.
The whammy.
Well, they said no whammies, no whammies. Stop.
He's the whammy. Thank you for saving me out of that. Once he said he's the whammy, right? When Josh Allen is trying to make some crazy low percentage throw downfield, is it going to be like $5,000 or a new car, or is it going to be whammy? Stop.
Oh,
there's the Honey Badger. On the Kansas City side, it really does revolve around Mahomes' toe. And my man Diego, who brought this up in the chat room, we were thinking when you were bringing up the toe seats, there's the mobility. But part of the mobility is creating those plays outside the pocket, which are just so terrifying for a defense. But if Josh Allen tries low percentage throws, Patrick Mahomes tries throws that nobody's even thought of. If his toe is not right, will those throws go awry? One of the things about Patrick Mahomes that we've seen this year is, in the Miami game, for instance, he threw some bad interceptions. I mean, some interceptions. If Mitchell Trubisky threw it, you'd be like, yup, that's Mitchell Trubisky being Mitchell Trubisky, right?
Right.
I mean, they were bad interceptions. They were interceptions that is just bad quarterback play. And if a part of his game is being out at that limit where only Patrick Mahomes can do it, but he doesn't have all of his Patrick Mahomes faculties, is he going to bring it back in? Is he going to do what they did in the first game and kind of play within himself, play high percentage throw football? So, that's going to be an X factor. Watch really early how Mahomes does on those crazy throws against his body, or if he even tries those throws, or maybe if he throws the ball away and just concedes on a play in a way that we're not used to seeing from him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I don't know if he's going to play or not. Like you said, Darrell Williams a little more of a banger. Edwards-Helaire has a little more sports car steering here. We may see Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this one because of how much of a role he played in the first game. There's Tyreek Hill. Tre'Davious White is going to be out there. Not necessarily a great matchup, but at least somebody who can make some inspired plays. Travis Kelce. Kelce had a good game in this first game. I'm thinking of the name Leslie Frazier. Leslie Frazier created a one-off game plan to evict Lamar Jackson from the playoffs and the Ravens offense. You could really tell from the game plan, sending extra players, crowding everything up to the line of scrimmage, that it was like, this is how our defense can beat this offense. They didn't have anything like that in the first game against Rivers. Rivers actually played really well and did what he needed to do to give them a chance to win this game. So what is the one-off game plan here? I don't think we're going to see a repeat of that first game, which actually it was executed well. I mean, they were only in that game at all because they were inducing Kansas City to run and making some stops. This is going to be amazing. Just that the Buffalo Bills are in the AFC Championship game. It's amazing. And I think for all of us that don't have, if you're not a Tampa fan, if you're not a Kansas City fan, if you're not a Green Bay fan, how much fun is it going to be to commune with the Bills Nation out there as that intense mass consciousness focus? I'm getting chills. It's fantastic. Whatever happens, I think when we look at this game, what it comes down to is this: we see patterns in all sports. Kansas City almost got over the hump, lost to New England in overtime. They get over the hump last year, they win the Super Bowl. Does that diminish their hunger a bit? Does that make it so that it's just you can't dig down quite as deep because you just got there? Or is it alternatively for Buffalo, this is their year, like losing to New England in overtime, right? Like this is Josh Allen and the Buffalo team and the Buffalo organization. Like you're back deep in the playoffs, but still that level of precision, the ability to be so mentally tough that you not just limit mistakes, but create plays that you normally can't create. Is it there? Because it hasn't been there against the Colts. It hasn't really been there against the Ravens. I mean, the defense played fantastically, but you look at the Bills in these first two games, they played like B- football.
And doesn't that give you maybe hope that all of a sudden there's an A game coming?
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to peak in the postseason. Whether you have to go to the wild card round or you get a bye, this year only one bye, but like in the postseason, you've got to be different. You've got to show something you don't normally do. Someone that you're not thinking of has to make some sort of play or two to come through. You have to elevate. And then two, don't peak too soon.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in the fantasy playoffs and you have that 200-point week and you're like, oh God,
yep.
No. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. You want that week 16. Well, playoffs are the same thing. And Buffalo hasn't peaked. Now, it's not that Kansas City did or Kansas City had their uh-oh moment, but their uh-oh moment was when Mahomes got hurt.
Yeah.
And then they were fine, and Chad Henne with some balls out there like, okay, yeah, they survived. But now Mahomes is back, so mentally do they, is there that exhale like, oh, we got Mahomes back, so we're okay, when you're not okay. Buffalo's had two games where they know they haven't played their best football. Do they summon that Sunday?
Yeah. It's going to, I'm nervous. I mean, I took a little ride with the Cleveland fans last week after Mahomes went out, like where you can just feel the immense emotional energy being expended when not just a season, but like a lifetime of rooting for this team is culminating in these moments. I can't wait. I'm glad it's the second game. I'm glad it's the game that is getting dark outside and, we're settling in. Conference Championship Sunday is just a classic day on the calendar. And some years it gives us the moments that we remember more than we remember the Super Bowl, right? Like the catch.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight Clark. That was a conference championship. And it was a massively symbolic conference championship, a changing of eras. May we see Mahomes and Allen battle in the playoffs every single year, like Brady and Manning. Let's just do this every year and see what happens.
And the AFC's got those young quarterbacks, man. They're gonna have another one in Trevor Lawrence. So like that conference, you either have or you have not. And boy, it's just fun to think of. Somebody put it out. I think I retweeted it. I don't know, Bloom. Where it was like a picture of Yoda and a picture of Grogu. Mm-hmm. And it was like NFC quarterbacks versus AFC quarterbacks. Right. Okay. Well, everyone's crazy about Baby Yoda, Grogu. So get crazy about this one. I'm picking the Bills, Bloom. It looks like the over-under is 54. So how about this? 28, wait. 27, 24. Field goal to win it at the end.
Oh,
how about that?
Instead of wide right, the rookie, Tyler Bass.
By the way, the Super Bowl is in the same spot.
Right.
In Tampa. So you can go, imagine, and just think of the beautiful, always thinking of stories, Bloom. But think of how Buffalo, maniacal, crazy, can exorcise those demons in Tampa.
Maybe even against Tom Brady.
Which would be awesome, right? The guy that tortured you for 20 years.
Right.
So just think about that. Kansas City back, yay, Kelsey, and that's fine. Like, I got nothing against KC, but I am picking Buffalo, and I am rooting for Buffalo.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with you and pick Buffalo. And I think the way we get there is that, and I actually think, dare I say, Cecil, it probably helps the Bills that they're on the road for this game. There is such a thing as the weight of the expectations of fans can be so much, can be so much. And playing this game away from Buffalo, they can just focus on football and the kind of football they're playing at the end of the year. So I think the Mahomes toe, just watch a drive or two, and we'll see how much Mahomes toe is affecting him. We will see what Leslie Frazier dials up. But I believe in Josh Allen. I've always believed in Josh Allen. And I do think you're right to look at the under in this one. And I think that this is a game that will come down to field goal or will come down to. So I think we're envisioning this the same kind of game. So, we're making a similar prediction. I'll say, 23-21 Buffalo over Kansas City. And it's going to be a classic, I think. And we're going to have a chance, like you said, we have this oncoming wave of all these young AFC quarterbacks. I can't wait. I think that this is what we deserve. Mahomes versus Allen. I know I said it on the show like 20 times, putting that wish out of the universe. And
we've all been waiting for this.
Yeah.
This moment.
Yeah. And I think once Josh Allen really got going in the second half of the year, we wanted to see this. And it's a shame that it may not be with 100% Patrick Mahomes, but it's exciting to have the season culminate in these two games to lead us up to the Super Bowl. And then Cecil head to, by the way, Mobile, home of Hammer and Hank Aaron. So bringing it all together.
There you have it. Whew. All right. That is a wrap for today's program, ladies and gentlemen. Bloom, you've got Charge coming up to wrap up your division
NFC
recaps.
North. Yep. And that's been a lot of fun as the illustrious group of couch guests. I'll probably pull a few other shows out, bring some other people on. There's never enough time to bring on everybody we want to bring on, but there's always a lot of things to talk about. And see, that's what's exciting. Is like, I'm sure we'll have some shows coming up to talk about the Senior Bowl. We'll have some shows coming up to talk about news and notes around the league. Dwayne Haskins, someone in the chat, Brandon Standifer, is like, what do you guys think about? Hey, any quarterback signing is, I don't care who it is.
Anything's better than Mason Rudolph.
Exactly. They signed a jugs machine. All right. Competition for Mason Rudolph. And we're going to have the draft, combine, and things like that. We're going to have free agency, and next thing you know, the draft will be here. We're going to have all kinds of stuff. So it's great, man. I think that there's a certain kind of football fan that, yes, when the season's over, it's a letdown, but it's also exciting. It's exciting to start watching Trey Lance and Zach Wilson and Justin Fields and picturing where they're going to be. It's exciting to see what new coaches and new GMs are doing as the plan. It's exciting to understand that franchises have a chance to change direction. It's exciting to see what franchises are doing, like Buffalo has, to maximize their window, and so on and so forth, and getting to share it with you, and getting to share it with all these great people in the chat room, getting to share it with all the great football guys people. You're just like us. You're like, yeah, the Super Bowl's coming up, and it's resolution, but it never stops, and that's why we love it.
And get ready, because in 2 weeks, Bloom, I'll spill the beans right here on this show. Yeah. Our 4,000th episode is coming up in 2 weeks. So on that episode, and hit us up, always encourage us. Maybe don't encourage us, but always encourage us. We're lining up some guests. We're lining up a big celebration. It's 4,000, man. 4,000 episodes of the Audible. So obviously we want everyone to jump on and be part of that celebration as well. If you have any ideas or any Audible stories, Bloom, isn't that you wanted to hear?
Yeah.
Audible stories, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to do something where we're going to bring back some familiar old faces. We're going to bring back some of our heroes and some of the people that we look up to that helped this thing even come to existence in the first place. And the reason you're the reason for the season, the reason the show exists is all of y'all. And of course, we want to hear from you too. And it's just good, and all of us should take our own little piece of credit, including those of you that are listening, to create something that's positive, to create something that, even if it's just a little bit, I think improved the lives of people that were part of it, and especially us. We're two lucky sorry Joes to get to do this and continue to get to do this.
Yes, that is very true. So we'll definitely ramp it up. Follow us on all social networking platforms, and episode 4,000, man. It's we'll take a moment and a moment of celebration with you. That'll be in 2 weeks. So everyone stay tuned for that. We'll have 4 or 5 shows next week. So make sure to stay tuned for that. As Chris pointed out in the chat room, make sure to do all those YouTube things, like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a vid. He's Sigmund. I'm Cecil. We're the Audible. Stay tuned and stay frosty.